Hello, welcome listening to One India News. I am Akash. Just days after the Gurdaspur attack, another attack happened in Jammu and Kashmir, and this time around, one terrorist was caught alive, while the other was dead in the shooting. Apart from that, various other discoveries have shown this thing that the Gurdaspur attack that has happened, it was a pre-planned attack, and the team who executed this plan had been in Gurdaspur for 3 days prior for a recce. And apart from that, that fresh incident that has come into the light has also revealed that the terrorist team, was in the country for 6 days. So this thing has actually raised a lot of questions as far as the security and the intelligence has concerned. To talk to me more about this whole issue is Vicky Nanjappa on the show. So Vicky, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Akash.
So on the lines of what happened in Gurdaspur, another incident happened in Jammu. Though we were hearing a lot of ceasefire violation happening from the Pakistani side, but this time around, one terrorist was killed down and another was nabbed. Now, the interesting fact is that this guy keep on changing his name. This is something very, interesting. That why is he, not giving out the information?
Correct. Akash, one thing, see, it's an age-old tactic, when every terrorist is, trained, basically, when he goes through, a rigorous training program, wherever he does, there is also one session which they undergo is that, of this concealing of identity, because, nobody wants to know exactly where they've come from. And also another way of dodging investigators.
Right.
So that is, a really a very important part of any terrorist training program, because they do spend a lot of time on telling them on how to dodge investigators. Because what he's going to do is that, for the next 4 to 5 days, he's going to keep giving you contradictory information.
Right.
So, that is one thing. So they keep looking here and there, here and there. So it's extremely dicey, because the one fact, that, is coming out, through the preliminary investigation is, the same part of the Gurdaspur module, one stayed back here, one team went in to the other side.
Right.
So there is still a suspicion whether there's another team, because when the Gurdaspur attack happened, none of us had any clue that, there was one more team waiting here to carry out an attack.
Right.
That's one thing. So he will try and misguide.
But an interesting thing that now has come out that the Gurdaspur attack, these guys came 3 days prior to the incident and did the whole recce, and this guy,
right.
Mohammed Nawed, which is the new name that he's calling himself with. So now
Correct.
he's claiming that he was in India for the past 6 days. So so this actually creates a lot of big question mark on the border security itself.
Yeah, that's what, if you see, Akash, every time you see, this cross-border firing, which, increases, this sudden incessant firing, which, indiscriminate firing which happens.
Right.
It's a lot, it's not about, showing your prowess or, anything of that sort. It is just another way of, keeping the forces along the border distracted so that these infiltrations can take place. So, they are like, pretty much interconnected. So that is one part of it, okay?
Right.
And see, Akash, let's face the fact there's been a terrible intelligence failure in all this, even the Gurdaspur attack. I mean, now the thing is, it'll be interesting to know which route he came in, because preliminary it was suggesting that they all came in together. One team was kept on standby, but the other team, went and attacked Gurdaspur.
Right.
Because also another thing what we got to know is that, these were meant to be coordinated strikes. That is one.
Right.
Okay. And it's not as simple as just, trying to, keep to ensure that the talks are called off or anything of that sort. That's one standard reason that we've all been, giving and getting since the past couple of days, that all attacks, aimed at calling off the talks.
Right.
But there's a newfound aggression on their part, which need to, sit up and take notice. Yeah.
Or should we think that this has something to do with the Yaqub's hanging?
No, not really, Akash. I don't think so, because, if it was the Yaqub hanging, they would try and attack somewhere within, they would come closer into the cities or things like that, because, not these kind of strikes.
Right.
I still, think is that, see, there's been a lot of chatter between India and Pakistan off late. And, see, there's one more thing, Akash, they have found this, this newfound friendship with China and, things in Afghanistan. seem to be going pretty much their favor with they, being able to appoint a new chief out there. So, they are going to try and show their might, and they're going to keep doing things like this. They are definitely, if you also see one more thing is that Hamid Gul also made a very arrogant statement a while ago, in which the former ISI chief, he said, you either resolve the issue of Kashmir or you just come and attack us and be done with it. So, this kind of audacity they've got. In fact, I've just written a copy. In fact, why are these attacks getting more and more audacious?
Because there was a very interesting thing that when this guy was caught, he was smiling. It was like,
that's what. See, Akash, there's one more thing. If you notice that one thing, hadn't Kasab been in so much of pain when he was arrested, he too would have been smiling.
Right.
Now, the one fact is, let me tell you, Akash, these boys are just, 20, 25. Okay?
Right.
So that is one thing. You know how it is. Any 20, 25-year-old boy, would love posing for the camera. So he's basically a remote control tool out there. It's nothing. He's been programmed. You go and you do this and you come back. That's about it.
Right.
So, when he sees all this adulation, not adulation, the kind of publicity he's getting, everyone taking his pictures and things like that. This 20-year-old boy from Faisalabad wouldn't have even imagined that, he's going to be on the front page of all the news. So he must be finding all this very, very amusing.
Right.
So which is why I'm saying, like Kasab, this guy is a complete remote controlled toy of, the Pakistan establishment out there. So he's just been told, you go there, fire and things like that. Others, what a trained fellow, who's got such a mindset and things like that, he's not going to do a stupid thing and sit down for lunch with his own hostages and then get caught.
Right.
That is one account.
Yeah, but that was very funny that, why would you sit down with the hostages and have lunch with them?
Yeah, exactly. See, this basically, one thing, they're sending in these very young boys and, all that.
So
see,
do you think, Vicky, do you think that these are very, this is a haste on the part of so-called the cross-border terrorism, that they are not finding men, and that is why they're training these young boys, giving them crash course and then they're sending them away?
Yeah, that's what. These look like, these fly-by-night or overnight kind of operations. Just go quick, attack, finish and come back or die. One of those.
Right.
What tends to happen is, these people who train, you say in these Sindh camps or, the Murdike camps, if you look at those Lashkar camps, there's people who undergo training for 5, 6, 7 years and things. Somewhere down the line, they come under the radar of the intelligence and, they have that, that visibility. And the moment you see them itself, you can make out, they're up to something.
Right.
Whereas these are, very unassuming kind of characters. It's like, it just reminds me of, those days, when the Indian Mujahideen was pretty much new, just one set of, young boys between the age of 25 and 30.
Right.
Just go around planting bombs. See, that's the thing, the element of surprise.
Right.
The job is done. It may not be big or small, but it's got the, kind
attention.
of publicity it was meant to get.
Right.
So that's about it, Whether
so what do
you,
what do you think that the Indian security agencies and the intelligence agencies should take away from the biggest point that has actually come from both the incident, that is the Gurdaspur and the from this recent attack? Both are being claimed that in Gurdaspur there was a 3-day prior recce, and this thing, the guy was the whole team. These was 2 guys. They were in India for the past 6 days.
Yeah, see, intelligence is also, a game of hits and misses, Akash, because what? One goes wrong, they may get it right 200 times, but that is the most unfortunate thing, They can't afford to get it wrong even once. So that is one thing. It's a very difficult situation, it's very, very difficult situation, in fact. And, the thing is, there has to be a lot more surveillance along the border. Lot more surveillance along the border. You need to check for these local modules. It's only going to get tougher. It's not going to get any easier now.
Right.
So the surveillance on that front, and the thing is, not get distracted by this cross-border fire. And let's hope that those NSA level talks, they bring out something positive. So both countries can sit down, talk, and then at least get a little bit of quietus on these kind of issues.
True. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Vicky, for coming on the show.
Thanks, Akash. Thank you.
So that was Vicky Ranjappa with me on the show, talking about the recent attack that has happened on the Indian soil, and this young boy who is just 20 years old was caught. And well, definitely a huge security threat as far as now the intelligence is coming out prior to the both the attacks. If we talk about even Gurdaspur or even this attack that has happened, both the teams have been in India prior to the attack in Gurdaspur. There was a 3-day prior recce, and in this incident, the fresh incident that has happened, the team has been in India for the past 6 days. So definitely, the security agencies plus the intelligence agencies need to step up their act. That's all for now. But for more news and updates, log on to our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/oneindianews.